if you knew for a fact that there was a 90% chance one of your stocks would 2x in the next 3 years and a 10% chance that that stock would just move sideways and do nothing, how much would you invest in that stock? No, seriously, how much would you invest? You have a 90% chance to 2x your money in only 3 years, and then a 10% chance that your stock just does nothing. To me, that seems like a great risk to reward ratio. Now, that's not exactly the scenario we're going to be talking about today, but I wanted to discuss my biggest investment, its size in my portfolio, and why I'm so heavily invested. So we're going to go over, though, a few updates on my portfolio. If you saw my last 50K portfolio reveal, you would think that this stock would be Celsius. But I've actually been taking profits on Celsius, and let me explain why. The first reason is because I need to raise cash. Okay, the market's been getting kind of crazy with all these SPACs as well as all the pump and dumps. So I need to hold cash to be ready for anything. And I was already up a ton on Celsius, so that's reason number one. Now, reason number two is the stock is just a really young company. It's still got a lot to prove, and its price to sales was reaching around 40, which is really expensive, even for a high growth stock. So I figured I should take some profits. I've sold about 2/3 of my position at an average gain of about 70%. So I'm still holding the other third. And if this stock drops, I would really love to buy my shares back because it's still one of my favorite stocks in the stock market. I love the company, but I just needed some cash. Nothing's changed with the business model. So let's move back to my largest investment ever. If you had to create the perfect stock, what would you create? If I was to create my perfect stock, I would make a company with an easy business model to understand, a company that's trading at a cheap price to sales as well as a cheap price to earnings. I'd make a company with a very large and growing opportunity, a company that has competitive advantages, branding, and is the number one player in a lot of the markets that they are competing in. I'd make a business with growing revenue that's 20% plus and accelerating revenue. I'd make a business that's profitable and is getting even more profitable as time moves on. I'd make a business with a great and improving balance sheet, and I'd make a business that is stable and will grow for years to come. Now, if I had to create my perfect business, that's what I'd create. My largest investment amounts to $15,000. It's about 27% of my portfolio. And this company I'm going to be talking about has all of those previous characteristics we just talked about, and I'm going to go through them all in this video. This company is called Corsair, ticker symbol CRSR. Corsair is a leading global provider and innovator of high-performance gear for gamers and content creators. Our industry-leading gaming gear helps digital athletes, from casual gamers to committed professionals, to perform at their peak across PC or console platforms, and our streaming gear enables creators to produce studio-quality content to share with friends or to broadcast to millions of fans. We design and sell high-performance gaming and streaming peripherals, components, and systems to enthusiasts globally. Corsair served the market for over 2 decades, and many of our products maintain a #1 U.S. market share position. We have built a passionate base of loyal customers due to our brand authenticity and reputation as provider of innovative and finely engineered products that deliver an uncompromising level of performance. As you can see from this picture here, there's several of Corsair's products. We have studio accessories, headsets, performance controllers, power supplies, cooling solutions, etc. And they own the brands Corsair, Elgato, Origin, and Scuf Gaming. Now here's a screenshot of my position. I just want to build trust with you guys and put my money where my mouth is. My position's actually closer to $16,000 than it is $15,000. And I hold about 428 shares. I'm up roughly 5% on these. So I'm pretty much break even with this stock. I've been building this position since September, I'd say. I'm pretty much break even, but I gotta say I'm basically fully built. I think this is the most I'm willing to put in the stock. So we're going to go through all of those attributes I talked about one by one. And we're going to start with an easy business model to understand. So Corsair sells PC peripherals such as keyboards, headsets, mice, and then components such as power supplies, fans, and RAM for your computer. And they also sell streaming gear such as cameras and microphones. Not cameras, excuse me. Microphones, lighting, just accessories for streaming. Now that's the first part. That's basically their entire business model. In short and sweet, they're doing other things like working to get with gaming coaching and get that rolling up. But really, as of now, they just sell PC accessories, components, and streaming gear. Now, the second attribute we talked about is a company needs to be trading cheap in terms of price to sales and price to earnings. Now, if we look at the valuation of Corsair on Yahoo Finance, we're going to see that they have a market cap of $3.51 billion and a forward PE of 26.88. Now, I think that forward PE is actually high, and I think that's because Corsair is improving profitability, which we're going to get to in a few minutes. So I think that number is a little high, but their price to sales is also very, very cheap, trading at 2.38. So the company's trading cheap. Price to sales of 2 and a forward PE of around 25, which is also, like I said, I think it's too high. I think it's actually lower than that. This is a cheap company. Now, the next part we needed for the perfect business is a business with a large and growing opportunity. According to Grandview Research, the global video game market size was valued at USD 151.06 billion in 2019 and is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 12.9% from 2020 to 2027. $151 billion market. That is a very large industry. And on top of that, it's going to be growing at 12% annually for the next 7 years, which is a long time. Now, 7 years, when you grow at around 10%, you end up doubling. So it's basically saying the gaming industry is going to double in the next 7 years. So Corsair has a total addressable market of $36 billion. Okay, so we talked about the gaming industry is a $151 billion market, and it's going to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 12%. But in terms of Corsair's actual total addressable market, who they can sell and market their products to, that's about $36 billion, as estimated by John Petty Research. Now, if we look at this chart, we see that 72% of gamers, which is the gray, are casual gamers. And on the bottom chart, we see that they only do 17% of the spending. Corsair wants to target and sell to these casual gamers, right? So 36 billion isn't necessarily a huge total addressable market, but I'm sure it's going to grow with the gaming industry. And based on these numbers, right, based on these percentages of who's doing the buying, it actually looks like Corsair has a lot bigger of an opportunity than you think, because there's a lot of gamers that can benefit by upgrading their gear, right? 72% of these gamers. Now, why would these gamers upgrade? Why would these casual gamers upgrade? For the same reason that every little kid wants to wear Jordans when they get on the basketball court. You need pro equipment to play like a pro. Now, this is kind of how the total addressable market works when I'm talking about pro equipment and playing like a pro. This is a pyramid, right? And at top, we have pro streamers, and under that, we have committed PC console gamers. Under that, we have competitive. Under that, we have casual. And lastly, we have mobile only. The way it works is the people at the top of the pyramid have the most skill, and they have the most influence. As you go down the pyramid, influence gets less and less. And as you go up, people aspire to be the individuals above them. So the mobile-only gamers aspire to be a casual PC gamer, and those gamers aspire to be competitive, then committed, and then they aspire to be pros. With esports growing and growing, there's more people watching the professionals and wanting to play like them, wanting to be like them, kind of like the little kid wants to play and be like Michael Jordan. It's the same principle, only this is related to video games. And this is kind of what they're seeing, right? And it completely makes sense that these casual gamers would want to upgrade their gear to perform better, because a lot of people, when they play video games, they want to win. Like, that's the whole point. Now, we're going to move on to what kind of competitive advantages does Corsair have? Because when we're looking at Corsair and the perfect business we described earlier, we need competitive advantages. So let's take a look at this chart. We're going to see Corsair is top 5 in every single category they compete in, and is the #1 player in every PC component segment they compete in. This is the perfect example of a #1 player. Now think about what we talked about earlier, how the gaming industry as a whole is going to grow by 12% for the next 7 years, right? If this company has a #1 market share in a lot of these PC component systems, then a lot of these guys that are going to be building PCs as the gaming industry grows are going to have Corsair products. And if they have Corsair products, they're probably more likely to get Corsair peripherals, such as a keyboard or a mouse, and upgrade from there. So they don't just stop once they get the equipment. Like we talked about, they upgrade as they aspire to be better and better to the higher end equipment. Now, we need a business that has 20% revenue growth and accelerating revenue growth to have the perfect company. Well, let's take a look at Corsair's last statement. They experienced revenue growth by 61%, but the average growth rate for the last 9 months had only been 49%. So, 1, their revenue is growing by 20% or greater because it's 61, and 2, it's accelerating because the previous 9 months had only grown by 49%, and that's been bumped up to 61%. So we have that piece of the perfect business as well. But what about profitability and becoming more profitable? Well, last quarter in net income, Corsair did $36 million. And what did they do the year before that? Less than $2 million. So they had some insane net income growth right there. And are they becoming more profitable? Well, let's take a look at some of these margins. Corsair has all around improving margins. And the highest growing segment of Corsair's business, the gamer and creator peripheral segment, has the highest gross margins. So not only are their margins improving, but their highest margin products are growing faster than their lower margin ones. Now this is becoming more profitable as a business overall. This is a perfect example of that. Now what about their balance sheet? Because we also need a great and improving balance sheet to have the perfect company. Well, their balance sheet, I wouldn't say it's great, but it's not bad and it's improving. Okay, their cash doubled last quarter and their debt decreased dramatically. They have a decent amount more of total assets than total liabilities, and overall their balance sheet could be better, but it's improving. They're gaining more and more cash and their debt is decreasing. The next part of our perfect investment, we need to have a business that's very stable. And if we look at some of Corsair's products and where they're sold, we're going to see that this is a stable company indeed. Corsair is in all the major retailers for its products, such as Best Buy, Amazon, and Walmart. And speaking of being in all of these retailers, I've been doing some of my own research. I've been in the field, as someone might say. I've been at Best Buy and Walmart, and I've been checking their products. And a lot of the times, I've been seeing Corsair products sold out more than Logitech and sold out more than Razer. And I have a video here that I'm going to show you, and it's going to show you, I'm just browsing through the Best Buy gaming gear section, and we're going to see that Corsair, Logitech, and Razer all have their own area, and out of all 3 of those, Corsair is the most sold out. Lots of Razer, a little bit of Logitech, and Corsair is just about empty. And I got myself some stuff. Now, on top of Best Buy and their website as well, I had some other people check out their website, and a lot of their products were sold out on there. On top of all that, we can check out the Google Trends for Corsair. Now, this Google Trends is over the last 5 years. And as you can see, about 5 years ago, it was just the Google Trends for Corsair was kind of chilling around that 50 line. And then as we go closer to the present, you see it's spiked up 50%. It's hard to see here, but that's a 50% jump up to around 75, and it's a sustained spike kind of hanging out around there. So Corsair seems to be 50% more relevant than it was 5 years ago. And who's to say where that's going to go in the future? But right now, they're trending upwards, and we're going to hope to continue seeing that trend up. If we also check out Corsair's Amazon reviews, if you just type in Corsair on Amazon, you're going to see nothing but 5 stars. It's got great reviews. Corsair has great reviews on all their products. So on top of being sold out at Best Buy, on top of the Google Trends, they also have great reviews on Amazon. So in conclusion, out of all the stocks I've researched in the stock market, so far Corsair takes the cake for the best risk to reward stock, and that's why it's my largest position. Now, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. I hope you guys are making a lot of money in the stock market. And if you like this video, please consider dropping a like, commenting, and subscribing. And other than that, everybody have a great day.